Dedicated to all the new people.
What it do? Once again, family. What it do, my people?
People gonna be telling you how you shouldn't keep the Sabbath.
Yes, it is still the Sabbath.
It's done away with. My advice to you is just ignore them.
Just ignore them, family.
Keep the Most High first and keep His law.
That's what we're doing over here. We're resting. Family, I don't really normally do 2 messages on the Sabbath, but I felt led in my spirit by the Ruach to deliver you guys another message, because I don't want our people being in the blind about anything, especially when it's real serious and pertaining to the second coming of our Yahushua Hamashiach. So family, this one will be entitled, Before the Second Coming of Hamashiach, Yah will stir up the nations, 83, to battle. So like what's going on right now in the world with the Israelis, America, and Iran, and other nations that may be involved in this war later. I don't want my family to be misunderstood about what's really going on, because Scripture does revolve around the Israelites. But the other nations, Yah will use, He will stir them up to fight each other right before the coming great day of our Elohim Almighty. So what you're seeing now in the world with these nations, Yah is stirring them up, and He's using spirits to cause 83 to go against each other. And it's all leading up to the great day of our Elohim Almighty, the second coming of our Yahushua Hamashiach. That's what you're seeing, family. So you will see in this message that it is Yah who is stirring these nations up. And you will also see in this message, family, that they will be fighting each other, whether it be stemming from the war that's starting just recently, whether it be this conflict or another one that will start later on down the line. That's yet to be seen. But anyhow, family, before the second coming of our Yahushua Mashiach, the nations will be enraged against each other. Psalm 83, our Father said that He would take the curses off His people once we turn back to Him, and He will put those curses on the nations and all those countries that used to be allies together in the United Nations and NATO. Yah will turn them against each other. The world is not going to be at peace before the second coming of our Messiah, family. The nations of this world will be at war with each other. And when they see Him in the sky and they hear His voice, they're going to turn their attention to fight against Him. You will see that in this message, and He will destroy all of them. So I have some coming out of the 66, and I'll be reading scriptures from the Apocrypha too. So please, family, put on your listening ears, and I'll start reading from the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 16. And why is Yah doing these things to 83? And you will also see in this message, family, it's because of what they have been doing to His chosen people for all the centuries they've been ahead. The reason why Yah is sending our Messiah is because what the nations have been doing to His chosen people. He's sending our Messiah to destroy them. That's what this message is all about, and you will see. So don't be alarmed about these nations and what's going on in this world. Yah is stirring these nations up because it's all in preparation for the second coming of our Yahuwah Son, Yahushua Hamashiach, the great day of Elohim Almighty. Okay? When He come to this world and destroy these nations who have been oppressing His people the whole time. Okay, Revelation chapter 16, family. Verse 16. Chapter 16, verses 12 to 21. And it says this. And the sixth angel poured out his veil upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up. that the way of the kings of the eastern sun might be prepared. And I saw 3 unclean ruach spirits, like frogs, coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Now that could have happened already, but as I continue, for they are the ruachs of devils, working miracles, which go forth to the kings of the earth and of the whole world. So everybody is going to be affected by these evil spirits, because Yah is using them to stir up 83, to fight each other, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahuwah, the Most High Almighty. Okay? Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and guards his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into the place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. And the 7th angel poured out his vial into the air. And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before Elohim, to give to her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon them, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed the Most High because of the plagues of the hail, for the plagues thereof was exceedingly great. All right, finally moving over to Revelation chapter 19, verses 11 to 21. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he judges and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Elohim. This would be our Messiah, Hamashiach, on his way back to the earth with his armies. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Yahuwah the Most High. Okay, and he has on his vesture, pardon me, and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Yahuwah Adonai. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together to the supper of the great Elohim, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat upon the horse and against his army. See, the nations' armies were already gathered. They were fighting each other. And then our Messiah came, okay, with his armies out of heaven, the angels. And the beast was taken with him, and the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his name. Okay. All right. Them that worship his image. Okay. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth. Okay, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. These were the nations' armies fighting each other before the second coming of our Yahushua Hamashiach. The nations will be at war. Scripture does revolve around the chosen people of Yah, but he has something in store for all the nations who have been oppressing us since they've been on top of us. Okay, so he has vengeance to take out against those nations, 83, who have been oppressing his people since they've been in power. So he, throughout the history of our relationship with our Father, sometimes he destroys our enemies by causing them to destroy themselves. They start fighting each other, and this is all designed by our Father, okay? So please, don't be alarmed. Scripture does revolve around the Israelites, okay? But Yah has vengeance against all the nations who have oppressed us. They're not going to be at peace when our Messiah is sent back here. And so what you see now is Yah is just stirring up the pot. He's causing these evil spirits, and the person and the nation that has gotten this war started was the Israelis, with their leader, Benjamin, not a Jew. And scripture says in Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, that place over there is the synagogue of Satan. Revelation 3:9, the synagogue of Satan. So that is Satan's headquarters on this earth. And his leader, his head honcho, is Benjamin, not a Jew, always causing trouble in the world. But he's also being used by those spirits that Yah said will be affecting the whole world right before the great day of Adonai Almighty, before the second coming of our Messiah, family. And as I continue to the book of Matthew chapter 24, Matthew chapter 24, family, okay, I'll start at verse 4 when I find it. Matthew 24, 4-8 first. And it reads, And Yahusha answered and said to them, Take heed that no man deceives you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, as food shortages and diseases, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Okay, now family, from verse 11, Matthew chapter 24, verse 11 to 14. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because the transgression of the Ruach shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And because the transgression of the Torah, many people are not keeping the Ten Commandments. Okay? That's why the love of many is waxing cold, because most people in the world are not keeping Yah's holy 10 commandments. Okay? But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then the end shall come. Okay, family, now I'll be moving over down to verses 21 and 22. But then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And we know that the elect is his people, the Israelites. Okay? But for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. So there are going to be some drastic things going on in this world before our Messiah comes to save us from the nations, to rescue us, family, from 83 and the oppression that has been, dishing out to us since they've been in power. Okay, family, this is before the second coming of Hamashiach. Yah will stir up the nations, 83, to battle. Okay? But that's all leading up to the great day of Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, the great day of our Father and our Messiah being sent back to this earth to take down these nations. Okay, family? This is what you see in the world. Scripture does revolve around his chosen people. Please, don't make no mistake. Don't be alarmed. Hamashiach said in Matthew chapter 24, you know, don't be shaken by what you see with these nations. These things must happen. Okay? But he coming to redeem us from these people. You will see that in this message, family. He's coming to redeem his people. Scripture does revolve around us, but Father Yah has anger at the whole world, all these nations. And he's going to send our Messiah down here to execute his wrath against 83. So family, please don't be alarmed with what you see with the Israelis, America, and Iran, and any other country that might get involved. Yah is just stirring them up. They're being stirred up by evil spirits, okay? Like it says in Revelation chapter 16, these spirits that go out into all the kings and the whole world, to gather them together for that great day of Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, okay? Don't be mistaken what's going on, family. Don't be alarmed about it. Let's just keep Yah's 10 commandments and that Sabbath day holy and watch how he performed for our ancestors who were slaughtered by the nations and us who are still being oppressed by the nations. Okay, Joel chapter 3. Why are these things happening, family? Because of what the nations have done to his chosen people for centuries. Now we know what Joel chapter 3 says, but let me help you understand, the parts that may not have jumped out at you as you read it. Okay, Joel chapter 3, verse 5 to 16. And it says, why is Yah going to do these things to 83? Check it out. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold and have carried it into your temples, my godly pleasant things. The children also of Yahuwah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold to the Grecians, that ye might move them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the places where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Yahudah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For Yahuwah has spoken it. Okay, now watch what he say to the nations. Okay, family? Proclaim ye this among the other nations. Okay? Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say that I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, all ye nations. Psalm 83, family. This is who he's talking to now. Why is he doing these things, stirring them up? Because they took his gold and his silver and they sold his people, his chosen people, around the world, far away from their other people. So he said he's going to sell their people to us. This is why he's stirring up the nations to fight against each other. He's telling them, prepare for war. And this is what the world going to be doing before Yahushua Hamashiach is sent back. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause your mighty ones to come down. O Yahuwah, let the heathen, the nations, be wakened and come up to the valley of Yehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, all the nations. Judgment day is coming for them. Okay? But he's going to have them stirred up to fight each other before he send Yahushua Mashiach. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahuwah is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahuwah also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahuwah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Yasharel. He's coming He's sending our Messiah to redeem us from the nations, family. He's just stirring them up now. Scripture does revolve around his chosen people. Okay, but he got us on chill mode. The nations are going to fight each other. They were once upon a time all allies. They're all a part of the United Nations. The Israelis, America, Iran, now they're starting to fight each other. Even in the news recently, Kuwait, another ally of America, made a mistake and shot down 3 American planes. They shot down their own allies. You see, Yah is causing them to fight each other. This is not something normal that people will do. If they're allies with each other, they're going to stick to each other through thick and thin. But see, Yah is busting all that up. He's busting all that up because he's preparing the nations to war against each other right before he sent our Messiah. And when they're all gathered together at the Valley of Jehoshaphat, all their armies, the world's armies, by that time, all the world's armies will be fighting each other. And when he sent his Messiah, our Messiah, back down here, they're going to already be gathered in the Valley of Jehoshaphat at the will of our Father Yah. And that's when he's going to cause our Messiah, Hamashiach, to destroy all the world's nations, armies, and military powers at once. They're going to all be gathered together. That's what's going on. This is all a part of the great day of Adonai Almighty. Okay, family? Scripture revolves around his people. But watch what it say in scriptures after he destroyed these nations, okay? Who have oppressed these people ever since they've been on top. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1 to 9, family. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1 to 9. Why do the heathen, the nations, rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahuwah and against his Hamashiach, saying, let us break their bands asunder, and cast away their cords from us. He that sits in the heavens shall laugh. Adonai shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath, the nations, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Ye have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. Yahuwah has said to me, you are my son, this day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen, the nations, for your inheritance. Our Messiah is coming to rule the nations with a rod of iron. Our Father promised that he would give the nations to his son, our Messiah, to rule as his own. His throne will be on this earth, family. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possessions. He's talking to his son. Okay? Ye shall break them with a rod of iron. Ye shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. That's what our Messiah is coming to do. Break them in pieces. Okay, family? He shall break them in pieces with a rod of iron. You shall dash them to pieces like a potter's vessels. He's coming to destroy, Psalm 83, all these nations who have been oppressing his people for centuries, ever since they were allowed to be on top of us. That's what you see going on. Yah is stirring them up to fight each other. Scripture does revolve around his chosen people. But right now, he's got us on chill mode while they fight and destroy each other. And when he sent our Messiah back down here, all of them who are not destroyed by each other, he will destroy all the military forces on the earth. Now I'll be going over, family, to the book of 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras. Chapter 13, verse 1 to 40. Buckle up, family. Check this out. And it came to pass after 7 days. Now this is Baruch. You know, he's been shown some things. He's allowed to have some visions and dreams. And when he awakes, he asks our Father Yahuwah, what was this all about? So Yah sends him an angel to explain all the visions that he saw while he was asleep. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed the dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that a man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fails or falls when it feels the fire. Okay? And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. He couldn't describe where he was, the area where our Messiah had carved out this mountain. That's what he's saying. He wasn't recognizing and wasn't aware of the area where this was taking place while he was asleep. Okay, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid. The nations were gathered together, the nations' armies together. They were fighting each other first, and then they turned their attention to him. Check it out. Listen up, family. And yet dared fight. Okay, they were afraid. Okay, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet dared fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, they couldn't be counted, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and called to him another peaceable multitude. Our people at this time, when he was destroying these world's military forces, we were still in the wilderness, okay? And there came many people to him, where some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and others brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, You have showed your servant these wonders from the beginning, and have counted me worthy that you should receive my prayer. Show me now yet the interpretations of this dream. For as I conceived in my understanding, woe to them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe to them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen to them, and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see these things that happen in the last days. So he's saying it's blessed, even though it's a harsh time for the world. But ultimately he said it is better, it is a blessing to be alive when these things come to be, more so than it is to be dead. So we're still alive when our Messiah comes, family. We will be blessed. It will show that we have endured to the end, okay? Verse 21 says, And he answered to me and said, The interpretation of the vision shall I show you, and I will open to you the thing that you have required. Whereas you have spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the perils in that time has kept himself. They that be fallen into dangers are such as have works and faith toward Adonai. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. You see that, family? This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas you saw a man coming up from the midst of the sea, the same is he whom the Most High has kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. He's going to be in control of all those that are left behind when he set up his throne on this earth, family, as I continue. And whereas you saw that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. He's going to deliver the Israelites and those who are clinging to us. That's what it's talking about. He's going to deliver us, because even though it may not be as hard for us as it used to be and for our ancestors who were slaves, it is still, necessary for him to come deliver us. And I'm sick of 83's kingdom. It's just based on all lies because of the devil out of the Israelis' camp. Gas was down to 260 something just a week ago. Now it's over 320. You know what I'm saying? All because of that mutt that went and attacked Iran. I mean, to me, it's like, if the United States is his guard dog, is the Israelis' guard dog, why should Benjamin Netanyahu, be so worried about Iran getting nuclear weapons when you got America to protect you? You know what I'm saying? It's just, Iran ain't going to attack Israel if they get nuclear weapons, because they know they're going to have to deal with the United States, who has the most nuclear weapons than any nation on earth. You see, like I say, family, President Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, none of these leaders are in control of what's going on. Yah is stirring them up to go against each other, and he's using evil spirits to do it. Read Revelation chapter 16. And the spirits, go out into all the kings of the earth and all the world to gather them together for that great day of Adonai Almighty. So Yah is using these evil spirits to stir 83 up, to cause them to go against each other right before he sent our Messiah back to destroy all of these nations, armies, and all the people who have oppressed his chosen people since they've been in power. As I continue, verse 30. And he shall come to astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, and one shall undertake to fight against another, like what you're seeing now. One city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. They started to fight each other. Yah is using the spirits to cause 83 to fight each other. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed you before. And then shall my son, as Hamashiach, be declared, whom you saw as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. The nations are fighting each other before he's sent back in. And it says in the book of Matthew, except those days be shortened, no flesh will be saved alive. But for the elect's sake, Israel, those days will be shortened. That's what we're talking about here, okay? And an innumerable multitude, the nation's armies, they can't be counted, there's so many of them. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and built, like as you saw the hill graven without hands. And this, my son, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of these nations. Psalm 83, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, destroyed them with the tempest that came out of his mouth, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts. He know their thoughts, everybody's thoughts. And the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the Torah, which is like me. And whereas you saw that he gathered together a peaceable multitude to him, those are the 10 tribes, talking about the Israelites, okay, that scripture does revolve around. But Yah is going to stir up 83 to fight against each other before he send our Messiah, our elder brother, back. Family, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Ashur, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Now this all takes place after he destroyed the world's armies, military forces. Okay, they all be gathered in the valley of Jehoshaphat. And that's when our Father going to send our Messiah to destroy them all. He's telling them in the book of Joel chapter 3, prepare the heathen, prepare. Let the weak say that I'm strong. He's telling the nations to prepare. He's the one stirring them up. And he's using these evil spirits to cause 83 to go against each other. Okay, why? Because they have stolen his gold out of his temple areas and his silver, and they have sold his people around the world, and they all got rich. Okay, this is why he's sending our Messiah to take down 83. So please, family, please don't be alarmed about what's going on with this war that just recently started up. These things must come to pass. They must take place. It is all a part of Yah stirring up the nations before the great day of our Elohim Almighty. Okay, he's going to send our Messiah back to take them all out. Okay, family, so I hope you got some understanding in Yah's precious name. So until next time, may Yah bless each and every last one of you. One love and shalom.